I see some very discreet proof that he will kick ass. I will call this year of Sanji a year of lies. Because people are very afraid that it's going to end without Sanji kicking ass, and I have a very big feeling it's definitely gonna end without Sanji kicking ass. In fact, this arc, it won't end with this year, with the end of this year. It's impossible. But also, I think people are wondering, what is Year of Sanji? Well, Year of Sanji started, what was it, July? Then technically, shouldn't it end in July 2017? Who knows? Hi for those who are watching, it's the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, actually bringing you chapter 842. So why did I complain about this? Well, I just watched some videos about Year of Sanji, and I got pissed off. Because, well, to tell you the truth, I'm getting so sick of Sanji treatment. Now he even was put on plastic and it hurt him. You're supposed to be made of iron. You could even outrun a depth 8,000 meters under the water, and that hurt you? And also, still don't really like the wind smokes too much. Well, they're made not to be liking. So I just want to, one of these days, I just want Sanji to kick ass again. But I'm highly doubting it's gonna happen. Enough about that, let's talk about the real chapter. This chapter was not all about Sanji, it was actually all about Luffy and co. Well, it turns out that actually the reason why Luffy could eat those biscuits was unfortunately thanks to Nami's rain magic. Or magic science. It's not exactly unfortunately, but now a lot of people are gonna say, that explains everything, because, well, a lot of people couldn't stop complaining about the fact that how could Luffy eat a biscuit soldiers when his gear 4 barely could even touch them. And I said I was completely fine if that could have happened, because Luffy's jaws are harder than steel. But it turns out that Cracker's biscuit fruits and his biscuit soldiers actually are pretty tough. And if they meet water, they become more flabby, similar and soft like regular biscuits, and that is what allowed Luffy to eat them. And Nami still has the homies under control, which Cracker is actually pretty pissed off about, but she's bullies them pretty well. It's pretty satisfying to see those arrogant homies now under Nami's control. I wonder though what will happen when she loses that card. Either way, the fight continues, and although Luffy seems to have faced the end of everything, he still fights on. Actually, this is one of the few times where Luffy says he is full. This is the guy that selfishly eats anything and is then feastful and then just want to eat something more after a while now. And this is the first time he's actually saying he is full. Also, on a side note, which I only half like, is the fact that Chopper's plan is a complete bust. Well, he said he was gonna, together with Carrot, they were gonna use the mirror to look around the kingdom. Only turned out that when Nami shocked Brûlé, she also entered the mirror world, and now she's currently chasing both Chopper and Carrotto. And the problem is they're running around the mirrors, and the other people can see them run around, which is beginning to become an urban rumor. Chopper. Oh, your plan was so stupid, it's almost amazing me. It's actually wasn't that stupid. What is stupid is the fact that you're running around and allowing everybody to see you. But then again, you are chased by an old hag wearing a sickle, so guess that's rational thinking. Back on Sanji part, Brûlé sticks a certain plastic thing that stings his face, but turns it back to his normal. It's it's a face mask that prevents from swelling. She also reveals that even though Pudding will marry him, she will not switch her name to Windsmoke. But she also says that Sanji will live a long life. However, she does still say to Sanji that she is not his ally and that he should not have come back. In fact, I'm still a bit skeptical about Reiju. These last couple of chapters have shown that Reiju has empathy, but now it seems to confirm my theory that maybe she doesn't want empathy, and now she's conflicted. But this dismissing thing does indeed hint that she'll put her family's business above all else. So is this arc going to be where Reiju is straight up a villain, or is she gonna be conflicted? Either way, we finally get the answer to one question. Why is... how come Sanji is so chivalrous? Well, it turns out that the one who taught him that is Zeff. Because Sanji said he was raised to never hit a woman, and it was strict upbringing, and Oda himself said he... it's not that like he cannot kick a woman, it's like he won't kick a woman. So... well... And it turns out in the past, the reason why Sanji's families did not have any female cook was Zeff didn't want that. And it was actually Sanji who wondered, why don't you knock some sense into her? But the reason for that is because Zeff actually, for everything Zeff was, he was actually a gentleman when it came to ladies. I mean, he may have been someone like, you shouldn't stay in the kitchen, lady. But he also was the one who said, you should never kick a lady. Men aren't meant to kick women, you twat. That's an ironclad rule of the universe since before the time of the dinosaurs. So it's pretty funny. The strict Zeff was actually the man who taught Sanji to be chivalrous. Sanji was always the dirty kid, but it turns out that the one who made him into a chivalrous kid was Zeff. It's so unbelievable. Does that look like a guy that was mean and jerkish to everybody? But no. And I even thought he was gonna be misogynic when I heard he didn't want to hire any female cooks. But the reason for that was not because he was simply misogynic. It was because, well, he couldn't discipline the lady if anything did wrong, because that's what he did. So yeah, Sanji picked that up, and he still said it is the time of the dinosaur. And after that, the Windsmoke escort, wielding a very large wielding cat, escorts towards the place. As the two brothers of Jonji and Ichi smile, Sanji is in deep thought. And, well, we wonder. It's gonna take a very long time before we finally do see them, because after all, we're gonna have a break now next week. And that was predicted. But at long last, the story is moving on, because even though it seems like Luffy is losing everything, he decides to enter a new Gear 4th form, or maybe it's more accurate to say, due to the fact that he's fat, he creates one. Luffy is the kind of guy that creates improvisation, you know, Miso Luffy and all that. And now he shows a new Gear 4th form, Gear 4th Tankman full version, who basically, well, the strange thing is, it seems that all these theorists have been correct. They once said something about a bouncing ball, and now Luffy looks even rounder and bigger than before. But it turns out that as ridiculous as that form looks, it's the one key to defeating Cracker. As Cracker tries to pierce through Luffy's haki skin, Luffy actually absorbs the blow. And not just like he bounced back Don Flamingo's kick. No, he actually absorbs into his stomach. Charges just like when he did the thank you fire. Tells Nami to not use rain tempo. And then I think in a way you could say Luffy just combined his stomach, which is full, and the big along haki, and created a belly attack of the strongest caliber. Gomu Gomu no Cannonball, as he says to Cracker, is to enjoy your trip to the ends of the new world. And that attack sends Crackers flying and also destroys the rest of his biscuit soldiers, as the homies can only look out in shock at finally, Cracker is defeated. And now the argument is, could Luffy defeat Cracker by himself? In a way, no. Nami did help by making the biscuits softer, but you have to realize those were biscuits. They had to become softer. Also, if the theory is correct that Gear 4 had different forms, or was this just an improvised form that Luffy created now that it got so fat? The question is, what kind of side effect will Luffy have now? He's so full and has undoubtedly defeated Cracker, but will he still be so fat? This was actually the first time Luffy said he couldn't eat another bite. So, what's gonna happen? And Cracker, did he now sent to the end of the sky, or did he just sent across the island? It would be pretty fun if he would be sent right into the chateau, where, well, where the rest is. But we won't know until 2 weeks later. At least Cracker is finally defeated, and the Windsmokes are on their way to that meeting of Big Mom. The story is finally moving on. The only thing that is bothersome now is Brûlé chasing Chopper and Carrot. I want to see Carrot in a fight. I won't deny that. But it's fine with me if they defeat her off screen. But they are wielding those, well, cups, weight cups, or whatever you can call them. And also, now that Cracker is defeated, his devil fruit should also stop working. Does that mean that the biscuit soldiers that is moving with Big Mom's, those biscuit homies are also gonna die, or is it more like since the fact that they can move because of the homie power? Since they're homies, does that mean they won't die? Who knows? Either way, the stealth plan did not work now. The one thing I greatly enjoyed about this was not only Cracker's defeat, but also where Sanji got his chivalry from. That was completely unexpected. Give me your thoughts if you have any.